Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, why not click that subscribe button down below. Without any further ado, let's get into the video. Now in today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about how I created my first one-person play, Man of the Stage. Now, let me take you back to 2020. I was very bored, like a lot of us, and decided to create a series of monologues. One of which was entitled A Man of the Stage. I just remember then. And the monologue was just sitting there, and I did a couple of readings of it for YouTube. And I got to read it on a podcast somewhere as well. So I did a couple of online performances of it, but nothing physical. And then let's fast forward to 2022, and I just decided to put on a one-person show. I'd seen other people put on their own work, and my biggest inspiration were people like Ian McKellen and Victoria Wood, those sorts of people. And most recently Dawn French. I saw two of her one-person shows, and I was just mesmerised, and I thought, I want to try that. I booked the theatre. when I'm saying this, I realise this was a very risky move. Yes, I booked a theatre without actually writing the show. Booked the theatre and did the artwork and sent it into the theatre. Then I realised I'm going to have to create a show. I need to turn this 2-minute monologue into a 50-minute show. How am I going to do that? So how I started really was I had four props. I picked 4 props and decided to talk about those props and why they were significant to the character. And I included a lot of that thought process into the actual dialogue, but some of it was just not scrapped, but I realised very quickly that I didn't have to just tell the audience, I could show the audience using props, so I could show something was significant instead of just telling, the audience that something was, telling the audience something was significant. For example, at the very opening of the show, during the overture, I entered the stage and I had a photo album. I looked through the photo album, and I stop at a page and I just pause, and then I slowly touched the page. I did this to not only show that something the character saw in the book was significant to him, but also to sort of tease the audience, sort of pull them in a little bit more, because it sparks the question of what's he looking at? What is so engaging? What made him smile? Is he going to talk about the picture? Is it something personal to him? I found it as a way of engaging the audience from the off. And while he's looking at the photograph, he's interrupted by a knock at the door. And that's what makes him close the book and put it to the side. And then we're into the show. So it's him sort of reminiscing his life, and it showed that it was not a secret, but it was something that something private to him. So it told the audience from the off that this character was quite a private person. I keep looking down. I've written bullet points of things I want to talk about. So that was just one of the props. I also had a signed photograph of Danny LaRue, which was the last present he was given by a co-star from the last show that he ever did. There was a book that people used to write in that played a significant part in the show, as he reads a message from the book that his wife gave to him the first time after the first production that they did together. So each prop had a significant part to play in the show, and that gave me extra bits of story, if that makes any sense. So I wasn't just sat there just talking at people about how theatre has changed over the past 40 years and what his career was like. There were things there that stimulated, that were the stimuli for a new part of the conversation. Yeah, that makes sense. So as I was saying, each prop had a significant part to play in the show. I wanted the character to have a lot of light and shade. I didn't want the character to be one-dimensional. So I thought, how could I do this? And in my opinion, the easiest way that I could do this was to have it being like an interview style. So to give you a bit of context, the character was given a list of questions that were going to be asked in the interview by this uni student, talking about how theatre has changed over the past 40 years. And that again gave me a structure to the show and helped me, I don't know how to say it, gave me the stimuli to not focus on just one subject and make sure that other things were covered as well. And as I was saying previously, it gave me a lot of light and shade. I wanted the show to be funny in places, and those questions allowed me to do that. But I also wanted to have some very touching moments as well. And I decided very early on that this character was put in this rest home just after his wife passed away. So it gave him, so there was a reason why he was there. I didn't want the reason to just be he was old, or he couldn't look after himself. It wasn't that. It was more of a he didn't know how to cope. And there was a bit in the show where everything started to unravel, sort of not unravel mentally, but like the bravado that he had at the very beginning of the show started to unravel, and you saw quite a vulnerable side to him, which I think if you can make a character very complex and multi-layered, it's more engaging for the audience. So yeah, what have I spoken about? Story, character. Oh yeah, and I think I said earlier, but the audience was the other character. So I broke the fourth wall, which was something that I was a little bit scared about doing. But I felt that I could have easily hired another actor to play the uni student, but I would felt that the audience would have been cut off. I wanted the audience to feel like I was just talking to them. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. That is long and short of it, how I created my one-person show. As you can probably imagine, it was very like mismatched and like just put it together and see how it goes. But before we finish, what I want you to take from this is that you have to believe in your story, because if you believe in the story that you're telling, regardless of how zany, off the wall it is, the audience will believe it too. So you have to believe in the story that you're telling. Doesn't, like I said, it doesn't have to be a true story. It can be a story about bananas. It can be about anything. As long as you believe in it, the audience will believe it too. I'm going to do another video on how I promoted the show, and sort of the more business side of putting on a one-person show in another video. But thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to share it with all of your friends, and I shall see you very soon for another video. Bye everyone.